Hey everybody, Kevin here on the dev server for 1.39, flying out the F-82 Twin Mustang, and we are in a test flight right now. I have not unlocked the plane yet, but we're going to just see how this thing flies, because it should be very interesting. Obviously, as you can see, it's an interesting style of plane, and we're going to see just what it can do. Now, I'm going to point out some I guess there are oddities with this this plane. First of all, as you can see, there's two pilots. Not sure how that's going to work in regards to pilot kills. If one pilot can be shot down, or shot and killed while the other pilot continues flying the plane, I don't know. As you can see, we have the two engines, which I can only assume means that if one gets shot down, you can continue flying. If one engine gets shot out, rather than down. But the other very interesting thing about this this plane is where the guns are located. As you can see, they're middle mounted right here in that sort of twin wing in the center, and there's 650 cals, and they are right there in the center. So that'll be interesting, especially if you're flying in simulator battles or some such thing, where you actually have the guns over there instead of the nose of the plane. Now, okay, well, it seems that they do head towards the crosshair, so that's not going to be an issue. The convergence will certainly be interesting, though, because you have all the guns in one spot. It'd probably be a little bit more like a nose-mounted gun as far as aiming is concerned and dealing with things like that than considering it a legitimate wing mount. So let's go ahead and let's take off here and just see what it can do. Huh. Well, that was certainly interesting. I don't know what happened. Anyway. Whoop, whoop, whoop. My mouse look was not working. Alright. Well, we're on full WEP here. We'll see what the landing, or the takeoff flaps down. We'll see what speed it actually lifts off. About 135, 135 miles an hour, IAS. And we'll just gain some speed here. Probably get up to about 175, and start climbing. And we'll see what degrees we're at. We're about 15 degrees here. Climbs at about, I'd have to imagine, about 155 at 15 degrees after first takeoff at this low altitude. It certainly seems like it's got a fairly decent climb rate. Now, it is completely stock. So I don't know. I have to imagine the climb rate would be far improved with full upgrades. But like I said, I have not unlocked the plane yet on the dev server. It's 75,000 RP. And yeah, this climb rate seems fairly good at 155, which is a steady climb at 15 degrees. It's pretty nice. Check out the roll. Fairly slow roll speed at this speed. So I believe. Oh, well, I should probably raise the flaps as well. So that'll have a big bearing on our climb rate here. We are at just about 15 degrees, 1,000 meters, keeping steady at 153 miles an hour. I'll probably just cut out this middle bit, this whole climbing bit. We do have a vehicle over here, so we're going to climb and see, probably get up to about 3,500 meters and do some performance testing up there as far as acceleration and roll speed and turn time are concerned, because that's really what you're going to be looking at as far as flying this plane, or the altitude that you'll be flying at. So that's that's what we'll do. We'll take a break here and pick up when we've got that altitude. Alright, just a quick note here before we get up to the maximum altitude. I had wept for probably, oh, I guess I can't check, a couple minutes, and we are at 256, so 257 degrees water temperature. You start to get overheating. So that is that's probably something to watch out for. I know on some planes that the overheating temperature is a little bit higher than that, but I also don't have the radiator, so take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so we are up at about 3,000 meters, and which is roughly almost 10,000 feet, and we're just going to level out as best we can and see how much speed this thing picks up. It seems pretty quick. Obviously not, not fantastic acceleration, but if we turn on WEP, we're in level flight. Yeah, the acceleration is all right. It's nothing spectacular, but I think where this thing will probably shine is in dive speed, because if it's anything like a P-51, the Mustang that it's based off of, obviously being the Twin Mustang, the dive acceleration and the dive speed should be pretty good. So I'll probably test a couple things. I'll test the dive speed, I'll test the high-speed roll rate, and I will be testing the sort of the G-forces, the wing rip that you get. I might do 2 tests for the wing rip, as far as just straight dive speed, as well as how many G's you can pull. So we will be testing that. Right now, it seems like an interesting plane. I also don't know if this is the correct flight model, because, like I said, we are on the dev server. This could be a similar flight model to the P-38's placeholder flight model, even though they are obviously a little bit different as far as their construction. But there are certainly some interesting aspects to this plane. Listen, pilots, if you could stop talking, that'd be great. Some interesting aspects to this plane, like that middle wing, this back elevator wing sort of thing, and also the rudders, because it does have twin rudders. I wonder if you can get one shot out and continue to have marginal rudder control. All right. Well, it seems we've got up to about 245 miles an hour in level flight, and it doesn't seem like we're gonna get anything above that at this altitude. So let's go ahead and test the dive speed and just sort of nose down slowly. Let's get a 15-degree dive going on here, a real shallow dive. Fairly good speed gain there, and then take it a little bit further into a higher degree dive. And with WEP on, it's certainly going to gain. Yeah, see, you've got really good dive speed already, up to 400, 420, 30, 450. Getting a little bit of shake right now. Alright, so there we go. It seems like I'm probably going to rip the wings at about 510 miles per hour. And test the zoom climb here. Just go up at about a 20-degree angle. Wow, look at that altitude go up. Speed's dropping fairly quickly though, even with WEP on. So that's we're looking at good dive speed, similar to the P-51. Wing rip probably occurring around 510 miles per hour, and that's IAS, the indicated airspeed, rather than the true airspeed. And I'm not sure what bearing that's going to have as far as higher altitudes are concerned. So, if you do use true airspeed, you're going to have to do some tests on that yourself. This is, return to the battlefield. Alright. But we gained back, I mean, it took us until, going down to 135-ish miles per hour, but we did gain back most of that, that altitude fairly easily, and fairly quickly as well, which is good. With all the relevant upgrades, it'll probably be a fairly good boom and zoom plane. Probably, again, very similar to the P-51. So let's go ahead and gain a little bit more altitude. We're gonna, you know what? We don't need too much more. So let's go ahead and dive. Let's test the high-speed roll rate, the high-speed turn rate. Probably get up around 350 miles an hour to 400 miles per hour, and test this roll rate. Again, pretty good dive speed. I am using WEP though, so 380. Let's. Oh boy! Wow, that's really good. That's really fast. So it'll be should be pretty maneuverable at those high speeds. Obviously up around 360. And let's just go ahead and go full elevator. And now this is obviously something you're not going to do in a battle, but it is still interesting to me to see. Cut the speed in half there using full WEP in a full elevator roll. Yeah, overheating everything now. So you're definitely going to want to manage the overheating here. There are some planes, some American planes specifically, where you can just go and have infinite WEP and hold down that key, whatever key you use, and just get that war emergency power for days. But this thing is going to have a little bit, or seems like it's going to have a little bit more management, probably not throttle management. I don't think you're going to have any problems as far as just keeping it at 100% throttle and overheating like you do with some of the German planes, some of the 109s. If you get up to higher altitudes, 5,000, 8,000 meters, obviously I'm not going to be testing at that height because unupgraded, I feel like the climb would be just unreasonably long. I'm not sure that you would be able to feasibly get that altitude in a stock F-82 during a regular battle. Now, this is all being tested in realistic battles, of course. As far as the arcade performance is concerned, I don't really care. If you guys are interested and would like to see arcade mode performance, you can either go onto the dev server yourself or just, shoot me a message, and I would be glad to test that for you. So we're looking at very good roll rate at high speeds above, say, 320 miles an hour, upwards to 350, 370, and into the 400 range. I don't recommend going too much faster than that. I mean, 450 is probably the max you're going to want to attain in a dive, because if you push it any further than that, you're going to start getting that rumble, and you're probably going to have some issues, especially if the sort of control surface lock is concerned at those higher speeds. Although I do not know, and I did not research, I have to imagine this thing has hydraulic flaps. It is a fairly late war prop plane, so I'd imagine it has hydraulic flaps. You might not suffer from that too badly. So we're going to get up to about another 3,000 meters and check the wing rip. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go into a shallow dive, and we're going to get up to 350 miles an hour, just about. And we'll probably start around 400 and go full elevator. And then if we don't rip wings there, go up to 470 and try it there. And that'll be interesting to note, because that where the wings rip really gives you a place to mark your boom and zoom sort of dives, as far as escapability, and pulling up off the tail or away from another plane. So it'll be very interesting to see. So we're going to go ahead and start that dive now. And I am going to WEP just to get the speed. Again, this thing does gain speed fairly well in a dive, which is very nice to see, because it seems realistic. So we'll see if we can get up to about 400 and then go full elevator. Yeah, I don't care about overheating at this point. Alright, 390, and there we go. 6, 7 Gs. Oh, a little bit of wobble there, it's my bad. So 7 Gs at 400 miles an hour and full elevator. That's not too bad, to be honest. If you're looking for this in kilometers per hour, in the description for the video, I will link the different conversions, so you can check that out if you use kilometers per hour. I use miles per hour, just because I'm an American, obviously, and it gives me personally a better reference frame, even though I like having the altitude in meters. I just feel like I have a better reference frame using a measurement of speed that I can more accurately relate to. So let's go ahead and start this second dive. We'll get up to return to battlefield. Again, there's that roll rate, just beautiful. And back this way. So that was at 400. Let's give it a shot at 420 if we can get there. And obviously these are low altitude tests, so again, I won't be doing real heavy high altitude tests. Again, 7 Gs, no problem. So I wonder if this thing, how much wing rip is actually modeled in this. Let's see about overheating. Let's just go WEP full on right here and see what we've got. 263, no problems. 264, no problems. Obviously, you see my airspeed dying, but so you're good at least up to 265. If it's an emergency, I obviously don't recommend ever letting your water or your oil or whatever you use to cool the engine, letting your engine temperature get up to that degree. It's still maintaining a climb at 130. Obviously, it's not a good climb, but didn't stall there, which was interesting. I thought I was going to be losing a lot more speed, around 18% climb, but I guess not. So maybe that twin prop sort of alleviates some issues with losing airspeed in high altitude or high degree climbs. Be interesting to see how that works, especially fully upgraded. Okay, so gonna gain a little bit of speed back here, and we're gonna see if we can get up to, I don't know, 450. 450 seems to be probably about where we're gonna find additional Gs and maybe even rip the wings. Be interesting to see if that middle wing rips. or if it's just going to be the outside ones. Probably just the outside ones. I can't imagine that middle wing ripping before the exterior wings. So let's see what we've got. Get up to about 3,000 meters. And get level flight up to, what was it, 245 was the top speed, around 3,000 meters. I'm probably going to want to head back over the ocean just to get that little bit. I don't want to be diving at mountains, because that'll take away the ability to get some additional speed. So let's go ahead and... The roll rate at 200 isn't that bad. Again, fairly slow to turn around at that speed. That was not spectacular turn speed, but I think the roll rate is going to be the saving grace of this plane at high speeds. I feel like the roll rate is going to do some very interesting things, especially regarding changing directions in a dive. Just when you need that little bit of maneuverability to get guns down on somebody, that roll rate is going to be extremely useful. Okay, so we're at 234, 3,000 meters over the ocean. That should be enough to get us a fairly good amount of speed. Let's go a little sharper. Wow. Yeah, there we go. In a steep dive, speed gain is even better. So here we go, 450. Oh, I'm up at around 460. I saw 9 Gs there and no problems. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this thing to rip. You might rip your wings in a dive before you rip your wings in a high G turn. Just that roll rate again. Oh yeah, that is very nice. $400. Now let's see if we can what we get just flying along the how long we stay at these speeds, because that'll be an interesting thing to see. You know, if you're trying to escape, if you can get up to 450 but then it comes back down to 400 in a matter of seconds, you know, it's a little less useful. Obviously still useful, but with full WEP, 200 meters, 170 meters, not losing speed too quickly, so that's nice. All in all, I think this is going to be a very good Tier 4 plane for the Americans. I feel as though it probably won't supplant the P-51s and certainly not the Bearcats as far as if you want a very good competitive plane. But, oh, that roll, though. But it is a very good plane from what I've seen. Guns are always obviously nice. And a semi-flat turn. That roll rate is very good. It'll be very good for pulling high yo-yos and things. Things like this, and getting down on people. Well, that is going to be it for the test of the F-82 Twin Mustang. It was a very interesting plane, and you see here, as I'm just holding down the WEP key, no issues up to 272 for the water. Obviously, it says water overheated in the bottom right corner, but no structural damage. Although I'm not sure necessarily if that's modeled at all, or on the dev server, or if it's even. I have to imagine it would be, but I also don't know if it's implemented in flight testing. So we will bring it back. It's very nice. Very nice plane. Very good to fly. Very fun to fly. Probably going to end up being more reminiscent of the P-51 than it will be a similarly structured plane like a P-38. I think I said P-51, not P-31. Woo! But yeah, that roll rate is going to be huge. And just a nice plane, to be honest. We're just gonna come in for a landing here. Alright, so we've got a countdown on the... Where's this runway? I guess that's it up there. There's a little weird map. Just a weird map thing where it just seemed a lot closer than it was. Came in a little hot. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm fine. All right. Well, that's it for the my flight test of the P-82 or the F-82 rather. The F-82 Twin Mustang. Very cool plane. Interested to see how it flies. That's it right here. And it's pretty cool as well. So hopefully we will get more information on this as the 1.39 patch goes live, or if I unlock it, perhaps I will fly it out in some videos in the future. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here.